Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Part 94. Also, large deep baskets were the receivers of my corn, which I always rubbed out as soon as it was dry and cured, and kept it in great baskets. I began now to perceive my powder abated considerably. This was a want which it was impossible for me to supply, and I began seriously to consider what I must do when I should have no more powder. That is to say, how I should kill any goats. I had, as is observed in the third year of my being here, kept a young kid, and bred her up tame, and I was in hopes of getting a he-goat, but I could not by any means bring it to pass till my kid grew an old goat. And as I could never find in my heart to kill her, she died at last of mere age. But being now in the 11th year of my residence, and as I have said, my ammunition growing low, I set myself to study some art to trap and snare the goats, to see whether I could not catch some of them alive. And particularly I wanted a she-goat great with young. For this purpose, I made snares to hamper them, and I do believe there were more than one taken in them. But my tackle was not good, for I had no wire, and I always found them broken and my bait devoured. At length I resolved to try a pitfall, so I dug several large pits in the earth, in places where I had observed the goats used to feed, and over those pits I placed hurdles of my own making too, with a great weight upon them. And several times I put ears of barley and dry rice without setting the trap, and I could easily perceive that the goats had gone in and eaten up the corn, for I could see the marks of their feet. At length I set 3 traps in one night, and going the next morning I found them all standing, and yet the bait eaten and gone. This was very discouraging. However, I altered my traps, and not to trouble you with particulars, going one morning to see my traps, I found in one of them a large old he-goat, and in one of the others 3 kids, a male and 2 females. As to the old one, I knew not what to do with him. He was so fierce, I durst not go into the pit to him, that is to say, to bring him away alive, which was what I wanted. I could have killed him, but that was not my business. Nor would it answer my end, so I even let him out, and he ran away as if he had been frightened out of his wits. But I did not then know what I afterwards learned, that hunger will tame a lion. If I had let him stay 3 or 4 days without food, and then have carried him some water to drink, and then a little corn, he would have been as tame as one of the kids, for they are mightily sagacious, tractable creatures, where they are well used. However, for the present, I let him go, knowing no better at that time. Then I went to the three kids, and taking them one by one, I tied them with the strings together, and with some difficulty brought them all home.